Because looking at how the state of the economy is right now and seeing how many people are unemployed, whether matric or no matric, I think it is very sad.
The education we have is misaligned with what we actually want, which is to create more jobs. We are in a state in South Africa where we do not need theory. We need practical knowledge so that people will go out there and start something.
Now, what if you are meant to become the entrepreneur that creates the business, hires people, and then actually start the job creation part, like Remo? Hey Drippers, and welcome to the next episode of Dripanomics Podcast, live from Sense Studios. Today, I am back, your host with the most, Miss K, after being off for like a week or two. I missed you guys, I missed being on the show, and I must say it was really bad, but I'm back now, okay, and I'm here to stay. And I'm still here with your favorite co-host, the biggest Man City fan.
Biggest City fan out there, Laid Allen. Today we have Zigode also.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Zigode.
Usually in the background, but today he's with us on set, okay? I feel like today we're going to be discussing a very controversial topic, and as much as it's very controversial, it's very much needed, okay? It's about the SA unemployment crisis. It's about the system, the survival, or is education a scam?
Okay.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it? No, we're just going to go into it and then, yeah. So, Ntwana, how are you guys doing? I haven't seen you guys in forever.
I feel like last episode we held it down. Mm-hmm. We had some kind of a panel, deep
real
things,
conversation.
real conversations, but then it was good.
Mm-hmm.
Hosting is difficult. It's good to have you back.
Good to be back. It's good to be
It's
back.
good to have you back. Hey, hosting is difficult, but then we held it down. We really tried.
I must say I missed being with my boys. I must say, I felt like when I was not here, a big part of me, I'm like, oh, I miss my boys, but it's also I can't be there. But yeah, I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to be back. And I'm happy to hear you on set, because usually in the bag, goes.
And
So
I'm scared. Ish. Now you need to lock in.
Yeah. But anyway, guys, today we are going to talk about a very sensitive topic, unemployment, which I think is a very controversial topic, but a must-have topic, because looking at how the state of the economy is right now and seeing how many people are unemployed, whether matric or no matric, I think it is very sad. So, Ntwana, according to you, since actually, let's start with Mr. Zigode, because he's always saying we need to redefine education. Do you think now that we are dealing with the redefining of the education, is it still something that you think is very much needed in order to not be part of the unemployment rate?
Redefining education is a broader thing.
Okay.
But then when you look into it, please give me a question again. Please come again.
Okay, let me just break it down to you. Yeah. So you want to say that we should redefine education, right? We should look for more ways to say we are educating ourselves in order to ensure that we do not form part of the unemployment rate. That could be you becoming an entrepreneur or whatever. So what do you still think we need to redefine education in order for a person to not be part of the unemployment rate?
Yes, we have to redefine education, because the current education system doesn't. Basically, in high school, it doesn't teach us any skill. Mm-hmm. So we go after post-high school, we're out there, we just have knowledge that we can't apply on the real world. So with that is where redefining education will get into, trying to make sure that as much as you get out of high school, you get out with something that you can use if you do not get accepted into varsity.
That's smart. That's very smart. So with you, Ntwana, hearing from what he said, being someone who is from a public school and then now getting into university, do you think the education system that we have right now, considering also the pass mark being 30% and all that, do you think is it then viable from you being from a public school and then going into varsity?
I feel like, first of all, let me go to the 30% thing.
Okay.
I feel like 30%, not to sound bad or something, it's relatively low, honestly speaking. The 30% pass mark, it's relatively low, because looking at how it is, someone will be like, let me just work for that 30. It's like, let me just work for that 30 and then I'll be fine. It's not something like, let me go for a 60, a 70 or anything like that. But then with the education system, I feel like we have a good education system, but then it has to be improved.
Okay.
There are places in which the education system can be improved. Maybe the content we consume in high school can be improved. Because I feel like when we get to varsity, like there's a huge difference.
Okay.
Like the difference is huge, especially in accounting. When you get there, they're like, if
Unlearn.
don't come with high
Unlearn
school accounting,
everything.
you know, those type of things. So I feel like maybe from my own perspective, high school try to help us to like get used to like the work rate that we need in varsity and all of those things.
I think the problem is not the pass mark.
Okay.
30% is okay. Ask you, okay, I get 90%. 90% of what? The content is the problem.
Okay.
So let's make an example. There is a subject in high school, maybe it's called mechanical. There you learn how to repair a phone, how to repair a computer, how to repair a machine. You fail on the test, you fail the section on how to repair a phone. You fail on how to repair a machine. But you pass this one on how to repair a laptop. You get out with a 30% of something that when you go to the economy, you can use it and start a laptop repair business.
So basically what you're saying is we lack like practical knowledge or something like that.
We are at a stage in South Africa where we do not need theory. We need practical knowledge so that people will go out there and start something. And that with that, that's how we solve the unemployment. Instead, now we do not have jobs. We need to create more jobs. And they always speak about creating more jobs, but their actions are not in line with what they are saying.
That is so real.
And also not forgetting what we have Mr. Dripa at the background, holding it down for
in the background.
holding it down for Zigode. So I get Zigode is here on screen, so Yana he's at the back. So
Yeah. So thank you guys for featuring me.
Pinch me.
Please don't forget to.
You wanted to say something?
Yes, I wanted to say something. So, okay, first and foremost, shout out to Dripa. Don't forget to pay. Let's be serious now. Let's log in. Right? So, I'm hearing what, Zakote's conversation is about, what content it is. But, like, I am trying to ask a broad question. Like, as South Africa, how did we generally get here? What has led to 60% youth unemployment? That's number one, right?
Okay.
Is it purely government failure, poor policy, historical trauma, us being taught, or us getting degrees that don't match what the market is looking for, right? Or are we just being promised jobs that don't exist?
Post-apartheid, we haven't actually created jobs. But you have created, but not at the rate at which
People
the
are demanding.
economy is increasing. And remember that after apartheid, we had to include black people into the market, into the job,
Job sector, yeah.
Job sector. So with that, we find ourselves in a situation where we have more labor force and less jobs. And then there were no jobs created, but then people, okay, there were no jobs.
Chill, boy, chill. Okay. Hands up in the air.
Let's regroup.
Let's regroup. Yeah, we're locked in now. So we find ourselves in a situation where we have more, we have more labor force than
the
the
jobs
job
are available.
Available.
right? And then it also goes to the education where you're talking about the degrees that are not in line with the current demand. Then with that, it starts another broader
Conversation.
You ask yourself, what are the degrees that are in demand? Should we be focusing on making sure that we specialize on those degrees, or we should always diversify the market?
Okay, so AI, right, is what has motion now. Technology, innovation, comp-sci students, actuarial science, everything practical, you can say, right? So that is where the future is heading, apparently. Oh, man, I love my accountants, I am accounting tutor myself. I love BCom accounting students, CA. They have the energy. At what point does the market become oversaturated, ladies and gentlemen?
I feel like that is such an important question, But also, I think it also goes back to what Ziwode was saying, that it could also be a thing, maybe we should start implement, as much as, yes, it's a skillful degree and you need to have, as much as it's theoretical, it also requires a certain level of skill in order for you to actually implement it into the real world. So maybe it could also go back to maybe what they do in high school, okay? You could find that, for instance, especially in public schools, there isn't that much exposure to different degrees. So I feel like it's oversaturated where it becomes oversaturated where now companies are only hiring a certain level of students, maybe because of your background. What do you have? It goes back to your maths lit. What percentage you did maths lit, that person did pure maths. Especially when you're looking for like your vacation works, you could find that they're looking for like pure maths and not mathematical literacy. And automatically you're excluded just because you did a certain subject. So maybe we should also look into the high school educational system. Oh, maybe we should remove 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and also add this, because if you're about to exclude other people because of mathematical literacy, then why not remove mathematical literacy as a whole then? You know what I mean?
Hey.
No, it's a question.
In
I'm
the
not saying
absence of math lead, some people don't have a
it's
national senior
question.
certificate.
But
Eh?
then,
Did you hear what I said, Zukote?
yes, but then,
Yeah, did you hear what I said?
what is the medlit doing for us? Personally, I did medlit,
Hey,
but I
it's
find
personal,
myself
that
in a
one.
situation where
You have to do pure math.
I'm closed into one field. I can't move out of accounting.
And you can't be a scientist,
I
for
can't
example.
be a scientist. I can't wake up the next day and say I want to go into com science. I'm stuck into this thing. So as much as medlit provided a gateway for us,
It really locked you in
but
other aspects
it
of life.
locked me in other aspects. I think, Mina, you should take medlit only if you're not planning to go post high school. You just want to finish high school. Take it. But then if you want to go into varsity
Don't limit your
with that
options.
medlit,
As
you are
child.
in
It's
hell.
I think, can I just say, I think mathematical literacy is a good subject. The reason why I'm saying that is because it also does include some things that are from accounting. It's really easy, especially if you're in the commerce field, to be able to interlink within the subjects that are involved. Maybe the way in which questions are asked in mathematical literacy can be maybe put on a broader scale, because people think when you're doing math, you're counting apples. And sometimes that's not the case.
I feel like it's not even about the questions or whatever.
Okay.
It's about, does it get you into varsity? I feel like that's his
Okay.
chat.
Yeah,
also.
there is where
Does it get you into
find
varsity?
we find ourselves in a situation where the education system in high school is not aligned
With the higher education system.
one. You get a medley, you do medley to come with a distinction, but you find yourself that you can only get into 2 courses.
Yeah.
That math lead distinction, even 100, it's
It
equivalent
means
to
that it's equivalent to a level 3 in pure
in
maths.
pure math. I wonder the playing field is different.
Yeah, it is.
So education, not missing the point that we are actually being on, which is unemployment, right? The education we have is misaligned with what we actually want, which is to create more jobs. So we will have to first fix on that. Then we'll be able to start saying, how do we fund people with the education that we have fixed to be entrepreneurs?
Okay, so coming back to my question, right? For me, maths lit is like one of the best subjects one can do, because like you can even become a medical doctor having done math lit. Kakala, just jokes. It's just jokes. Chill. The question I have is like, we're talking about job creation. We're talking about people must, be creating jobs. People must be doing this. Do you guys think, the future of South African lies within entrepreneurship itself? Do you think now we should be more comfortable with having a conversation of, instead of looking for jobs, create jobs? Is it even a thing?
It is. I mean, we have this because
Of entrepreneurship.
Of entrepreneurship.
Shut up.
You know what? It's just I'm not on screen. Oh my gosh, I'm blushing or what? Oh.
it is
but
important. I feel like most of us are afraid of failure. And the education system is almost kind of, what's those things? Donkey what?
Narrow-minded. Donkey.
Yeah,
Now I'm
those
losing
things.
the
Yeah,
plot.
whatever
But
it is.
narrow-minded.
Yeah, it's
that way.
narrow-minded. So, like, it's almost kind of made for you to pass in a way. Study, pass, move on. Study, pass, move on. And we get too comfortable within the education system to the point whereby we are not even thinking about being innovative. We are not even thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
Okay, you can.
You can go.
There's someone who'll be like, hey, Remo started a Dripanomics
Thingy.
tutoring
Tutorials.
thing. No one could have ever thought about it. Or even if someone thought about it, they didn't have the, should I say, the courage.
To even start it and put it out there.
Yeah.
We'll also need to look at is the education system that we have encouraging the unemployment, encouraging entrepreneurship.
Interesting.
So we are in high school, we're not exposed to anything entrepreneurship rather than business studies. How do I then compete with someone who went to private school, who were
facts.
being funded to go out there and fail and try different businesses as a student coming from public school?
So, okay, wait, this one is interesting. So, I also feel as if perspective and backgrounds are very important. So, what is it? Do you think it's intentional that the chat of entrepreneurship is had at a lower scale, or it's not really mainstream like that? Like, do you think it's intentional and this is how the way it is supposed to be? Because also, for most people, if you look at it, entrepreneurs come from a place of exposure. You understand?
Real.
Exposure. You have to see something to believe it. You understand?
Real.
You have to see it firsthand. Be it your parents, your friends, your neighbors, your schools, your environment, your friends, parents, your schools, someone. You have to see something for you to believe that it's actually viable. So do you feel as if not much is being said as to the exposure side of things? Like, we're not even exposed to this, hence why the thinking of entrepreneurship is so taboo and whatnot. Because if you think about it, entrepreneurs are often looked down upon if you clock it. Because like, I've had a conversation with some other students. They were like, and this is a genuine conversation. They were like, yo, mina risk niya isaba puti. Like, minang right. Like, risk, I don't want. I just want to be comfortable. Do you think people are comfortable at being comfortable to a point where they only become uncomfortable when it's no longer comfortable?
Yes. I agree.
Hey, that's a bar, eh?
The thing is,
You ate.
Too many
You
things.
said
Let's
a lot.
unpack.
Yeah,
You said a lot.
Exposure. There's the exposure part. There's the
That's the
being too
perspective.
comfortable. Is more work being posted to entrepreneurship. Let's talk about the exposure part. Because
Okay.
the exposure part, for guys, entrepreneurship, okay, but I can't say that I'm the one that founded entrepreneurship. According to my understanding of entrepreneurship, and for you to have the ability to believe and have faith in something, you must have seen it somewhere. If you look at most successful entrepreneurs, okay, in South Africa, hey, it's tricky, but like generally, these people had parents that were involved in business, or they had connections that were involved in this, and they were actually funded. They were supported, How is it maybe in a different background for your personal experience as Remo, as Zikote, as Ellen? If you were to go home, or if you were to be like 18 now and tell your mom, tell your granny,
Remo.
your dad that I want to be a businessman and woman
Okay.
and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we should start with the exposure and the perspective
Yeah.
part of it. So, as being someone who is from a public school, it's a thing. I was actually having this conversation with a friend of mine the other day that in our school there was no level of implementation when it comes to the work ethic. It's either you had it or you didn't, because we were not exposed to it, I must say. Because it's a thing, we understand you're getting the distinctions, you're getting on stage, awards, happy, right? But it's a thing, if you did not see the work ethic from someone else, you are so used to an environment where every single day you come back from school, there is no sense of, like, it doesn't feel like people that live here are alive. It's like we wake up, we go to school, we come back because we have to, not because we want to embed ourselves, not because there is a life out there. So when you get exposed now, when you go to your universities, you see that, oh, actually there is life out of a township, there is life out of a rural area. So I feel like also that also plays a part. And also with entrepreneurship, I don't think in schools, like, they would help I don't think they're doing a good job when it comes to putting it out there that people, you need to be an entrepreneur in order for you can also be an entrepreneur. Not everyone is meant to become a CEO, as you would say it. You know, what if you are meant to become the entrepreneur that creates the business, hires people, and then actually start the job creation part, like Remo? Right? So as much as you're a CEO, as much as you're an entrepreneur, you just put yourself out there in order to better other people's lives. So I also think schools, they do not play like a good role when it comes to that.
But then you find yourself in a situation where, like, now you are in varsity, you are more exposed to things. You say business, but are we in an environment that is conducive to entrepreneurship? We're staying in student accommodation that doesn't allow us to sell something, but then they go out there telling us that we should be entrepreneurs, we should be creating jobs. How are we supposed to create jobs if where we're supposed to be learning, where we're supposed to be making mistakes, they are not allowing us to make those mistakes?
Okay, wait. Zukote, me personally, ne? At varsity level, opportunities are many. Way too many. At university, if you didn't know how to become an entrepreneur, that is where you learn, by fire or by force. You have to do it. You are not allowed to sell at Reses. Us, we stayed at Reses where they tell us, Baba, we can't allow you to sell Coca-Cola. We're like, wait, night shift, security guard, far. We are selling there, guys. We are selling Red Bull on WhatsApp. Dog, if you want it, you want it. And I'm telling you this because we've done it before. You know, this thing of barriers, I feel as if most people use it as an excuse. Entrepreneurship was never meant to be comfortable to begin with. So people have gotten so comfortable at being comfortable that when we talk about being uncomfortable, which is entrepreneurship in itself, they're like, no, my brother. Now there's barriers. You have to have barriers and break them down for you to be able to operate at the highest level. At university, if you don't find yourself at uni, chances are you might never find yourself. The options here are just way too many. Student problems are many. You yourself, right now, as we are speaking, you are currently experiencing problems. Instead of not being a person that talks about the problems, now would be the best time to be like, I'm going through this, but if I was to do something about it, how would I go about doing it? Just from your side's perspective. And then if it's being able to be commercialized, then start commercializing it. There's way too many things to do, Zikote. Yes, I hear the Res thing. Dog, who says you must sell at Res? You meet students every day on campus. There are people there by APK, the gate. The guys that sell... They sell those phones, phone covers.
Yeah.
I've never seen a student beyond the ground.
But then...
No, but I'm just... To further finish my point, that's entrepreneurship. But the problem is with people also, entrepreneurship to them needs to be flashy immediately. It needs to be AMG now. It needs to be Pori level now. Pori, guys, there were times where he was making beats. It didn't look like he was bathing. But now he's out now. And then shout out to Pori. You understand? Entrepreneurship is not nice, guys. It's painful, if anything. Even just from my perspective, and mine was the cute version. There are some people that went through hard hours. There were times last year, you could tell this boy is physically not well. You don't sleep with entrepreneurship. You understand?
But can I ask, how do you then balance that, standing at the gate and selling, and also ensuring that you're bagging those distinctions?
You see, that's my chat. In economics, what you guys call it, opportunity cost.
Opportunity cost,
Now,
yes.
there's a trade-off. Some people are only going to learn later that their trade-off was, or the opportunity cost was time.
Okay.
We are talking about education. We are talking about people who getting cum laude, degree, 5 years, sitting at home, chilling. No job. It's bad, guys. Because when you are getting that degree, whether you like it or not, you are not the person in charge of the recruitment process.
Yeah.
You have no control of your destiny. And these are conversations you'll never be taught. Guys, when we say get distinctions, be locked in, we don't say study 24 hours. You are lying. Because even you know you're not studying 24 hours. Some people still, till this day, they know unemployment is high. They still prioritize 8 hours of sleep. Away. Sleep 8 hours, gents. Us, when we sleep 4 hours, we are crazy, Angir. But it's because we've seen through prior experiences that being comfortable at some point becomes uncomfortable. And you have to be able to balance, because there's no way, if you are trying to secure those distinctions, you're required to study 24 hours a day.
But doesn't it also fall back to the mindset, ya gore, probably we were told that education is the key to success, and we feel as if we put so much effort into education and ensuring that we are begging whatever distinctions, getting the cum laudes, the golden keys and whatsoever, we have been given that mindset that without the education, then we'll never be anything.
You also, apologies, but Ellen, I'll come back to you. You also need to look at the people that are giving you advice. Maybe in their time, I'm talking about our parents, the ones that made it out were the ones that had the degree, because maybe a degree then was more of a guarantee of success.
Okay.
Now, you get a degree, you are just one of the average consumer or the average student. You are not special. You understand?
Yeah.
Your degree alone is useless now on its own, like it or not. Yes, it's better when compared to someone without a degree. We are not looking at the person without a degree. We are looking at you. You with a person with a degree. Because even if you want to go degree for degree, there are some people you cannot just compete with. Cum laude on cum laude, the list is limitless. How? You get to the workplace, you find out that some people already had jobs already when they were doing their second years. Now it's just a matter of them getting that degree. The job is already there for them. You need to start from scratch. You're not even doing research now as to which companies you're looking to work at and whatnot. You are just thinking degree, degree, degree. There's actually more to getting a job than your actual degree.
But Remo,
You need to network.
Remo,
You are so focused
Putting
on
yourself
locking in.
out
becomes
there.
risky for someone who's coming from nothing.
Yes.
It becomes risky to say, I'll try and focus on other things, because you might focus on that thing and then it fails. But at the same time, you're failing academically.
Then
you go
everything
back
is
with
over.
nothing.
You see, from that perspective, I understand. Actually, I can't even say I understand why a person wouldn't want to risk it. There's just too much to risk.
There's so much at stake.
It's too much at stake.
There's so much at stake.
But yes, I hear that. But the more painful one is that same student sacrificing everything for education and still not making it. And do you guys, not even you guys, but do you think that person that has sacrificed so much for that education that doesn't end up getting a job, never look back at some point and have some glimpse of regret? I had the
Obviously
time.
they have, but during the time, you wouldn't think about such things. Yes, it might be at the back of your mind that as soon as I finish this degree, I might be unemployed. But you are trying your level best to not even put yourself in that type of mindset that, oh, I'm going to be unemployed. You're trying to be as positive as you can be, because you understand that everybody's destiny is different. Maybe mine will be different because I'm putting so much effort into ensuring that I am begging this thing. And as soon as I'm getting out of here, I am getting a job.
And also, I feel like I once had a conversation with a friend. Like, he was saying it's getting to the point whereby a degree will be the same thing as a metric certificate.
Yeah.
It will be just an introduction. You still need to like further your studies.
Yeah.
Now you need to do
Honest.
postgrad.
Because
when
now-
you into accounting degree, BCom,
Useless.
it's basically a metric certificate.
Because now there are thousands of us with a degree. And still there are thousands with a postgrad.
And still
So-
there are thousands with masters.
Exactly.
But now, okay, just let me let you land.
But then the unemployment is better with a degree than without.
A degree.
At the end of the day, you're still unemployed.
But the
But you have a
now
leg
when
to
you look
stand
at
on.
when you
What
look-
leg when you're both dying?
No,
Remo, when
but
you-
I have a
check.
leg to stand on.
Remo,
What leg?
Matric certificate,
Yes.
degree.
Youth unemployment, you fall part of it. With a degree or
Yeah.
without.
But
Yeah.
then the
What leg are you
probability-
standing on? 'Cause-
Remo, the
Yeah.
chances of you being employed is better than
Compared
the
to-
person.
Compared to a matric certificate.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, no, that's a fact actually.
Like-
There I'm not lying.
We just base it on luck. You say my destiny is not the same as everyone.
So now, yeah, I just rely on luck.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, yeah, we'll have to encourage entrepreneurship as you are encouraging it, but it will need to be at a rate at which, like, the whole country is encouraging the same thing, so that we can get young people going out there and making sure that they are starting something, and in them starting something, they need to be backed by funds. Where are they getting those funds? They need government to back them. Government
Yeah,
is not.
tiny government, boy.
It has
No,
to.
but I hear you.
Someone has to hold them accountable.
Someone needs to bambi,
Yeah.
son.
And
The
Zigoda is there
government-
for that.
Yeah, the government is there, right? There are services that they are offering to small businesses,
Yeah,
but they're not
NYDA and stuff.
advertising.
Yeah.
If you go to a normal person, like an ordinary person, what is NYDA? What is
NYDA,
SEDA? It's SEDA, right?
SEDA, yeah.
What is SEDA? They don't know. The government is not advertising the services to them. So we need to go, they need
We
to
only
go
know
out to them.
EPWP.
Yeah, they need to go out to them and show them if you can start something, we can actually fund
Fund
you.
you. Yeah.
Interesting.
Actually, you have a really
Yo,
thing.
it's a very
So do you feel as if government is failing in marketing himself?
They are failing in
Yeah, they
marketing their capabilities.
And then I have a follow-up question. In them failing, do you think South Africa is a country that is filled with entrepreneurship-like minded people? Do you think by design, not even by design, the average South African growing, okay, besides the exposure, okay, this is a difficult question because you can't ask if someone is capable of being an entrepreneur if they never untapped that potential.
okay.
But what I'm trying to come across is, do you think South Africans generally are entrepreneurship minded
No.
when
No.
compared to other countries?
You,
No,
know,
we're
you
not.
know why?
Why? So
Oh,
we are all agreeing no.
No.
Or this is your
Yeah.
personal opinions. Everyone's saying no.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Okay.
feel like,
I'll
yeah,
say my reasoning
Shout
behind
out.
it is because post apartheid, we were never encouraged to be entrepreneurs. But even our parents, what they said is jobs for everyone. They were advertisements saying jobs for everyone. So we all, even our parents, we say all, I wasn't there. But then even our parents, we went out with a thing of we will all get jobs. So now we find ourselves in a situation where those jobs that they promised, they haven't been delivered.
Yeah.
So that is why I'm saying we are not entrepreneurial minded.
Also, I feel like one other reason is it's a very simple example. A person starts something. We as his people or like the
As a people,
community,
Somnyama level.
Yeah.
we like, what is he doing?
Yeah.
That's the first thing in mind. What is he doing? He's not going to be
Passion.
successful. We are not saying let's support a black brother or anything like that. Someone starts a clothing, what?
First people to bash it.
It's us. We're like, he says 150. We're like, expensive. What?
What is worth
So,
150 there?
Exactly. So I feel like I'm also with Zugode when he says like we are not like entrepreneurship minded.
Yeah.
They score.
I think yes 11.
Yeah, I feel like I can agree with him.
Can
on that
I
one.
ask, with the jobs for all, do you think our parents were also saying that because of the policies that were promised to be implemented in order to fix the imbalances, especially when it comes to the employment situation?
The policies.
Can I?
Hey, that's what
I need to think about
I
it.
feel like there has to be a point whereby we stop putting everything on the government. As much as value we rely on the government, like we do rely on the government, Mara, there has to be a point whereby, like he said, there are barriers out there, and barriers have to be broken. So each and every generation must be like, we were promised jobs.
Yes.
Like, honestly speaking, like, Mara, if we're being honest, each and every generation shouldn't be like, we were promised jobs, we were promised jobs. When will it end? Because we need people who will be innovative. We need people who will be like, I want to do this and I want to succeed in doing this. But then most importantly, we need the community to be behind those people. Those are the most important people. If you are backed by your community, you have more chances of getting out there and succeeding.
Yeah, interesting. Okay. You want to say
You
something?
know what? I wanted to also add something. The thing is, with us also, especially if you're studying a brand, we tend to not treat our own people right. For example, if I'm not saying this has happened before, I'm just assuming, but maybe if I'm owning like a business and maybe a celebrity, a Kamumpela, orders from me. I'll make sure that Kamumpela's things are on point because I'm going to get exposure and whatsoever. But if a simple Remo orders is like, okay, it's just Remo, let me just deliver the product because Zotin, you understand?
But then it's a different thing if you support me and you see Orai. This one, Mara dismissing me.
Well, I haven't started.
Without even knowing Hore, okay, this is Vel how he does things. I feel like that's where we get it wrong. Try it out and then see Hore, okay, there's motion in this thing.
Also, entrepreneurship is not made easy in South Africa, even by ourselves. Why? Okay, I sell a t-shirt, how much? 250, no? Nike sells a t-shirt, 500. My shirt is already cheaper than Nike or more affordable. You come to me, brother, I only have 200 rands. Nike, you go there intentionally wanting to contribute 500, knowing very well that 250 is going to contribute more if you paid that local business than you paid a Nike. So I've never heard South Africans say they're supporting ShopRite. They never support Nike. They buy. But when it's Zikote, clothing brand, I support Zikote. How are you supporting us when it's a business transaction?
Exactly.
Why do you never support Woolworths? But you're supporting Ellen when Ellen is selling grapes there by the streets. Because what is support actually now? Because also this thing, it's like
support.
People, whenever they're doing business with their own, feel as if as a consumer, they're doing the business owner a favor. It's like that business owner also doesn't have overhead costs now. It's like that business owner doesn't have to take care of bills, water, electricity, staff. Why is it that entrepreneurs in South Africa should be given support or it's by grace that people are buying? Whereas for other companies, that's just how business is done.
Don't you think it's all like that when you're still starting up?
Not even. Okay, maybe.
But then,
and
I think we have a problem as black people.
As a people, yes.
Because DJ's Mo Fire
Mo
has
Fire
been on the market.
And we're still supporting him.
But then when I go to student center, I think, let me support a black person.
Exactly. No, but just to show you how behind we are, fam. I don't know how long Mo Fire has been operating. DJ's Boo. Now he's only touching retail now, ne?
Yeah.
Oh yes, again. How did DJ's Boo even get to More Fire? He was fired by Metro FM because he promoted his personal brand on national TV, which is not allowed. So that in itself, okay, maybe there's rules and regulations. They told him, Boo, don't promote More Fire. He promotes More Fire, he gets fired. Yes, maybe he was warned. But then it's More Fire. You understand? That was the thing. So already, he knew that he was on his own, black child. The system already told him, Baba, the bosses don't want Metro FM, national TV, just present. This guy comes, hey guys, gush, More Fire, gets fired, sharp. More Fire now selling retail. For a person, and also remember, this is DJ's Boo. Guys, if you're struggling as an entrepreneur as DJ's Boo, for the average consumer, it's chai.
Yeah.
It's chai, ne? DJ's Boo still, Buffet, to till this day, still has to be there by the robots and convince people to buy More Fire for like 10 rand, 15 rand. Oh, guys, it's hustling. For DJ's Boo to do that, even for me as an entrepreneur, it's discouraging because if DJ's Boo is failing, or not even failing, but has to work that much hard with the platform that he had, that guy had Metro. He's a celebrity. As a celebrity, you'd assume that it's easier for you to convert clout to business. Now, there's the average consumer, there's the average businessman. No one knows you. You have to start from the ground. So if DJ's Boo finds it difficult, my black child, what about you? You understand? It's not conducive.
Hey, time to put your faith in a friend.
But for him to take the risk on a public platform, he had something. He knew he could get fired, but at least he had some funds. You're telling me an ordinary black child coming from a disadvantaged family
Using
with
NSFAS.
nothing, using NSFAS to take that risk.
But now also,
you can lose everything.
Lose everything. Also, let's not pretend like we are saints. We are living with these people. We know where the budget is going also if you clock it. We are living with them. Now we're becoming too personal now. Now we need to change the topic. It's uncomfortable now. You understand? If you look at the budget and where the money is being allocated and where every Friday. Because I've actually realized the pattern. But I'm just saying this in pattern.
I get it.
You get it now.
You get it now. And as far as 1.6 allowance, where is it going? Okay, you have a baby, you have this, you have the boost. I've actually clocked it, but we're saying this in passing. I'm seeing a pattern. Let's leave the extreme cases. Ne?
Okay.
Let's leave those ones that are
Send money
that it's
home.
child that they have to send money home. Let's leave those ones. Those are exceptions. And if that's the majority, fine. Ne? Let's exclude those ones because those ones generally they have to send money home. They need to take care of basic needs and services. Them it's fine. The other ones, because remember also we have people with NSFAS that don't deserve to be on NSFAS, but also getting allowances. Those ones now, those ones that can afford. I'm starting to see a pattern in behavior of students. I've clocked it. Sometimes students that have more in terms of allowance and money tend to spend less than those that have less money. So now also, it's the thinking now. Again, it goes back to the environment. But I'm just saying also, when we're allocating resources and budgets, for people with less, they are prioritizing buying books to read, or they're prioritizing this to invest in this, or they're prioritizing creating this with their friends. Mara us, as friends, we only come together when it's time to drink. When it's time to talk about Dripanomics, boy, manju yang shia, boy, okay, let's vibe, yeah. Mara, if I say, gents, let's drink now, we are all drinking to our own detriment. If I say, hey, gents, this thing of tutoring is difficult, ne? Let's try to look at this. Maybe I must expand, do this. What do you think? What can you contribute? Let's contribute money. Okay, let's contribute money to go to this club. Weekend holiday. I don't know what we are celebrating because we don't have anything, but let's celebrate. People will make plans. Can you also see that the brain, the thinking is not the same? Priorities. Why do you guys think that's the case? Because as much as we need to move on, that is a fundamental issue. Money is not there, but somehow we all can afford to be drunk.
I think it will all goes back to the thinking, the conditioning that we had post-apartheid.
No, Ziko, you're talking about you. Leave apartheid.
Yeah, okay. No, the thing is, I'm not
you don't drink.
I'm not a normal poor black person. The education distinguishes me from them. So then, not in a bad way. Not in a bad way.
I'm not like the average nigga. Like, damn. I got knowledge,
I
man.
wouldn't behave as them, right? But then when you think that all of them, they were promised this great life. Now, when that life doesn't come, they still want it. With the little that they have, they want to get that life. And if that life was alcohol, they want to drink alcohol. If that life was buying expensive brands, they want to buy expensive brands. If that life was iPhones, they want to own iPhones. That is why.
Because I'm seeing the iPhone jet is another one.
I think what he's saying is so real, because when you don't have something, the minute you have the financial means to get it, you'll make sure that you get it no matter what. Whether priorities are there or not. If I grew up and I wanted an iPhone so bad and everyone around me had it, I'll make sure that when I have the financial means, I am getting it. Because at home, when I used to ask for it, like, oh, Mdana, we can't have it now because, your sister needs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, yeah. Okay, can I ask a question, actually? Goes back to how we grew up and whatsoever. So, do you... believing that each and every one of us here comes from different educational backgrounds, whether private school, public school, private school, do you think that also influences how a person is groomed and how well they are prepared for the real world?
Real world in what sense?
Real world meaning life after matric, life after uni.
I think private school does it better.
Wait,
Okay.
What was the question? Apologies. I was dozing off. Sorry.
So
No,
shy.
because he said private school, so now I can enter the conversation. You see?
Oh.
I started, blushing.
No, we're just asking whether seeing that everyone here is from different educational backgrounds, how does it play a role in how a person is well groomed and well prepared for the real world?
Yes. Me, I can only speak from my perspective.
Okay.
No, as we made sure we were cooked nicely for the real world.
For us, it was just get through it. Like move. There are people coming. The system is already overloaded.
We're in the races.
We're in the races. Move.
No.
Yeah.
There was
But,
nothing done to actually prepare us for what's coming. It was just pass with your distinctions. You'll see when you get there.
Yeah.
I feel like we are not exposed to a lot. Yeah. Like it will always go back to exposure. Honestly speaking, when it comes to, let's not even go for life after varsity or anything. Just life after matric. You don't know half of the courses or even 5 of the courses that are available in uni. Those are the things that we should learn, not even in matric, because some of us are exposed to those things in matric, whereby they are career exposed, those type of things. Those things you should, immediately when you get to grade 10 or grade 9, no more. If I'm choosing science, accounting, whatever, this is what I want to do. Or this is the expectations that I should have for myself, and this is what is required. Because we often do things because of pressure.
Okay.
There are certain kids out there, they know science might be a problem. But just because my parents says, I want a doctor in my house, you choose science. Just because your friend chose it, you go there. So we are not exposed to a lot of things to the point whereby when you get here or when you're in matric, it's you, your research, your books, one-man show. So
One-man show is crazy. One-man show.
So I feel like it's something that can be improved. And as if you get a chance, just go to your high school and just
Embark knowledge.
at least if you don't know like a lot, at least just tell them about the institution that you're in. Just go there, talk about UJ, talk about VES, talk about UCT, just for them to have an idea of what's going on. Because honestly speaking, in matric, they're like, go to uni, find your soulmate,
Get married.
you are free, you can do whatever you want. Those are the things that they tell you. You're no longer under the control of your parents.
Yes.
So already your
Marambo.
mindset tells you, Hore, I'm going for freedom there.
Yeah.
It's not about I'm going there to lock in, I'm going there to study, I'm going there to expose myself. It's I'm going there to be free. Hence maybe the club thing also, because now it gives you the freedom also, yeah.
What club now?
No, I agree you mentioned like when I get money, friends.
Oh, the club.
go
No,
to
but
the
there's
club.
context. There's football club. Okay, I get it.
But in the club,
But listen, just to show
often.
the distortion and the difference between what you are telling me and what I was told in our schools. As we were told, Baba, university is where you make your money. University is the prime time that you make sure that you find yourself in positions with people that know things that you don't know, so that you can collaborate with them and create businesses and make change to the economy. So this thing of freedom, okay, maybe with them, we've always had freedom. So it's not something that's new to us. We are not, most students, okay, I can only speak on myself actually, and the people I know. We're not faced by freedom and independence. What we are faced by is, can I supersede what my parents achieved? The mindset is different.
Yeah, me being in varsity, I've already superseded what they
You
did.
see, that's also another thing.
Like, I haven't achieved anything.
Exactly, but by virtue of just being a student card holder, in some families, that's generational.
Not even some families, in some communities, when you
Yes.
go back,
When you go back home,
Man, that's crazy, man.
like when you go back home after being in varsity, it's like you're the celebrity.
yeah.
Like,
James,
it's like
okay, I hear you, James. That's mine.
Right.
I don't get mind blown, eh? But James, that's crazy.
Yeah, like
So it makes sense why people, when they come here, they have to chill because they think they already made it out,
exactly.
but
Made
they
it out of
did,
the
but they
hood.
didn't.
Because
They just made it out of a system that's involving them in another system. They just don't know that they still are part of a system. Because with us, bro, hey, dog, we work hard because we're like, yo, boy, if my dad and my mom could do this during apartheid and I have all of this, I am a failure if I don't surpass them.
Yeah.
So already by putting yourself under so much pressure and scrutiny and on a pedestal, wherever you end up, you already know, even if it's not superseding your parents, you're somewhere nearby. And even that is good enough. As compared to this thing of being the first one in the township, then your community to make it to uni. Yo, boy, us, like, it's like, how? Okay, what's next? Us, we need to make like, 1 million, 2 million, 5 million,
Exposure.
1 billion, exposure. Dog, the pressure we have, okay, sometimes it's just the pressure we also put ourselves under. Because you are like, okay, like, listen, some students, not talking about me, I asked Malambani vibes, but I'm chilling. Some people, they were like, yo, boy, my dad, during apartheid, okay, we have like 6 cars. We have like a double story, a mansion. During apartheid, my dad only started working maybe 2000. Now it's 2025. That's 25 years. My dad also at some point wanted to do this. He was a security guard. He was this. He was a cop. He was with SASCO. He was youth. It's just everything. My dad started working at 21. Okay, my dad personally. When I hear he started working at 21 under apartheid, he had to take care of his family. You understand? He had my dad is like the oldest in his family, right? The mother, which is my granny, of course, was, out in town, having to clean, right? Really? So she was a maid. What do you mean, shout out? That's a normal black house.
No,
you see, now we shout out to cleaners now. Shout out to my granny. You see, we shout out to things that come on, James. Like, let's
you know why I'm saying that? Because you're explaining your childhood and you're explaining how your dad started working at like 21.
Yeah.
And this is an inside joke, but as much as we used to say that our dads, share the same name and we share the same name, same thing happened to my dad because my dad
the same dad, bro. Like, damn,
I've always said this.
bro.
And also, my granny was a domestic worker.
Bro, I swear, Joe, we need to take blood samples.
Something here.
No, because what do you mean, boy? Wait, no, this is gonna be the deciding factor. Was your grandfather there?
Yes.
Okay, mine wasn't. So
okay.
At least we know. Sharp. So, my dad started working at like 21. Okay, now he's 50, 60, whatever. He's accumulated, whatever he's accumulated. When I hear these stories, bro, I can't be on I just want to get my degree. I look at that situation of, if my dad managed to do this at 21,
Can do
during
better.
apartheid, if I'm not doing this, then I am a disgrace. You understand?
And
That's
then
the expectation.
The majority of us are exposed to like, I didn't have the money to go to varsity.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's real.
And then when I get in there,
You've made
it's
it.
huge.
It's huge.
See, so like it's
You still need to shift from that mindset first. You still need to take university as normal, not that you have made it.
it should be normal. You should get to the
Should
point
not.
whereby you see how we said a degree is becoming
Like
a
Equivalent
metric
to-
certificate. Getting into varsity should be like
Entry level.
entry level.
Bare minimum. Ish again, wait. Entry metric degree, bare minimum. Now you need to look at honors. Now you need to look at postgrad as in masters.
PhD.
You go to the PhD, you get your PhD, you get your honors now. You want to apply for a job. They tell you you're overqualified now. You'll never finish the system.
Yes.
You will never finish the system.
Yes.
They tell you they want requirements, honors or masters. They tell you salary 6,000. Now you're like, you're playing with me. You understand? So there comes a point in time where you are underqualified. They don't hire you.
You're overqualified.
You are overqualified. They don't hire you. Whether you're qualified or you're not qualified, I'm trying to drive across the point that you are never going to be hired. That's my chat.
Yeah.
We are like 65 million. Gents, if we clock it, only... now I need to come with real stats. But how many people are tax paying? Let's look at that. If it's 4 million, 5
We have
million,
17 million employed people. But then,
That is that.
17 million.
yeah.
More people got employed today.
That are employable or that are employed.
Employed. And then,
How
the
many are
thing is
contributing tax and stuff?
that
Okay, let's just say that's 17 million. Let's just use that
Yeah.
figure.
they
Wait.
are taking care
Plus
of
or
the rest.
minus.
Yes, that 17 million is taking care of the other 65.
The thing is then, with the definition for unemployment,
No.
there's the extended one.
Sharp, let's talk about taxpayers.
And I don't have the rest.
Let's say it's 5 million. Taxpayers, because also for government to raise funds, they're raising from taxpayers.
Yeah.
Whether you're employed but you're not contributing to SARS, vet vendor vibes yes, that's goated, but from the larger perspective, if it's 5 million taxpayers that are contributing to the economy and it's their money that is being used to fund everything else, if we're 65 million in a country, minus those that are unemployable, like, the retirements, the kids, from that number, guys, mathematically speaking, given the current state of the economy, look, you're fooling yourself. Understand?
Okay. This is such a broad topic, and I wish we had more time to speak on it. Maybe we should have a part 2, ne? Maybe. But anyway, guys, thank you for joining us. Please don't forget to like and subscribe the video. Comment your favorite part of the show if you did have a favorite part. I'm sure you did though. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Dripanomics Tutorials. And that is it from me, Romofilwe.